Okay, this is where we are now, and the next two rounds, rounds 5 and 6, are going to leave us here with those lovely sort of star-like petals, and we're using vintage peach for ours. Again, you can use whatever colour you like, and this is where we're going to start to do a little bit of sort of 3D working. If I turn this over, you will see that we're kind of working, you can see sort of separation here, we're working behind what we've already made, so that the petals, the next rounds that we make, actually sort of sit behind what we've already made, rather than sort of at the edge or even on top of. So let me show you how we do that. Okay, so to work behind the petals we've already made, we're not going to turn the flower over. We need to keep the right side facing us. So what we're going to do is take those little petals that we made in the last round and fold them forward, because what I need to see is this sort of exposed edge here, which is heather. The colour is heather for me, and I'm looking at working into the skipped stitches from round 2 all the way back at round 2. That's where I need to get to. So if I get my hook here, we're looking at working into, and it can be a bit tricky to see, but don't worry, you will get there. I'm going to be working into this skipped stitch. Okay, so that's where my hook needs to be, and the easiest way to get to it, you can see that petal is folded forward under my hook, and my hook has gone over the top of the back of that petal and through the skipped stitch from round 2, and that is where I'm going to join in my vintage peach yarn. Okay, through that mist or that skipped stitch just before the chain space there. And in the same way as we've done previously, I'm going to pull up a loop to fasten that into place, or to secure that into place. And what we're going to do in this round, round 5, is going to make the structure of the leaves, okay, rather than the leaves themselves. So I've secured my new yarn into place, and I'm going to work 1 double crochet, UK terminology, or a single crochet, US terminology, into the same stitch where I've just joined in that yarn. So those are going to be my little anchor points, those stitches, those double crochet or single crochet, depending on what you'd like to call them. Those are going to be my anchor points. And I'm going to skip round again and make another sort of framework, very similar to what we're working into now, actually. So 1 double crochet in there, UK terminology, single US terminology, and 2 chain. And I'm now going to skip across by folding the next petal forward and repeating that. So putting my hook through the skipped stitch from round 2, and again, I'm having to kind of look for it, to work for it a little bit, and that's totally fine. What you don't want to do is put 2 stitches into the same stitch. If you've already put a stitch in there, it's not the one you're looking for, and you also don't really want to work into the chain space. So look for your skipped stitch, put your hook in there, and make your double crochet UK terminology or your single crochet US terminology, and then just 2 chain between them. And that's what you're going to do all the way round, so that you end up with 8 of those little stitches anchoring things into place and 8 chain spaces between them. Okay, so I've gone all the way around now, and do just check here, and I'm saying this from a position of somebody who got to the end and realised they'd made 7 petals. So just check this point, because it is absolutely essential you've got the right number in here, or else you won't have the correct number of star-shaped petals as we move on. So you can see, just peeping through those little points or those little stitches made in peach colour here, and I've counted them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 there. I've made my last 2 chain here, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch into the first stitch that I made, but I am not going to fasten off here. I'm going to keep this same colour for round 6, which is when we're going to go ahead and make the actual petals. So that was round 5, just putting that little framework in, and let me turn that over and show you. Just take my hook out for now and just move that tail to the side, and you can see I've just put that little framework in there. There's some chain spaces that we're going to use later on, and it's all anchored with those little stitches, which you can just see peeping through, which give that really nice little effect on the front. So time to move on to round 6. Okay, we're ready to go on round 6, and on round 6 we're going to be making those little pointy petals that you can see there in the same colour that we were using for round 5. And this is a really good one to learn because Jane uses this quite a lot in her designs for petals and leaves and things. So nice one to learn and not as tricky as you'd think. So we will start with 1 chain to get us up to the height we're going to work, and for this round we're going to be working into the chain spaces that we made on the previous round. And I'm going to start with a double crochet, that's UK terminology, it's a single if you're in the US, and then 6 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And what we're going to do here is we're going to work back along that chain with 3 stitches that increase in size and then the 2 more that decrease in size again. So if you look at your pattern, the repeat is in UK terminology, double crochet, half treble, treble, half treble, double. So you will be able to see when we do this that increases and then decreases, and in US terminology that is single crochet, half double, double, half double, single. Okay, so let me just show you that. So if you look, I've turned my work and I've got the chain sitting here to my left. I'm going to ignore the chain that's closest to the hook and start in the next one with that shortest stitch. So that's the double crochet in the UK or the single in the US. I'm going to go across to the next chain and increase to the next size stitch, which is the half treble UK, half double US. Go across to the next chain again, and that's going to be our tallest stitch for this leaf, which is the treble in the UK or the double in the US. And now we're coming back down in size, so back down to a half treble UK, half double US. And finally, the shortest stitch, the double crochet in the UK and the single in the US. And that has created our little petal there, but I want to sort of finish it up and anchor it by putting another short stitch in that chain space in exactly the same place we started. So in goes my double crochet for UK or single for the US, and that is now anchored and in place, and you will see that nice little sort of slender, elegant little petal there. So that's what we're going to be doing, and we're going to hop around to the next chain by making 2 chain, and we'll do that all again. So we start with our double crochet or single crochet in that space, and off we go with our 6 chain again. And we do those 3 increasing in size stitches. So we've got, in UK terminology, double crochet, US it's a single crochet, then we've got a half treble UK, half double US, then we've got a treble UK, a double US, then a half treble UK, half double US, and finally finishing with a double UK or a single US. Anchoring it all in place again with a double crochet in the UK or a single in the US. And 2 chain to the next little chain space, and off we go again. Now when you're making these, do not make the same mistake that I did, and that was miss out a chain space because you will end up with not enough petals and be very cross with yourself. So I'm just going to finish these up and I'll see you at the end. Okay, here's the last petal. I'm just completing that now. And putting the last little stitch in here at the base of the petal, and I'm going to do 2 chain and secure to the top of the very first UK double US single that I made, and fasten this colour off now. Okay, so it looks a bit sad, doesn't it? Currently, a little bit curly, and that's okay. We're going to be adding more structure to this, which will pull the leaves out, or sorry, pull the petals out. And ultimately, if you block this, they will sit nice and flat like that. So don't worry, don't worry. Trust the process, as I think we're always told, aren't we? So that was round 6. Let us move on to round 7.